and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Millie and I love 80 makeup, especially shiny, shifty, and sparkly eyeshadows. And today I'm going to be talking about some more affordable multichromes. I almost want this to be a little bit more of like a series on my channel, so like a hunt for more affordable multichromes. There are already some brands that are a little bit lower priced, but none of them are like super lower priced. Devinah is definitely one of the top brands out there that delivers high quality at a really great cost. So in this video I'm going to be featuring the Black Moxy Cosmetics Forbidden Forest Little Eyeshadow Palette Quad of 4 multichromes, and these are black based multichromes. I will of course be showing you some swatch comparisons. If you've been on my channel for a bit, you will know that I have a pretty large multichrome eyeshadow collection, and I always like to do some swatch comparisons so that you can see if there's any dupes across different brands, so that you're not buying the same shades from different brands. So this quad is $40, which means each shadow will be $10. I did use a discount code which took off $4, so $1 per shadow, but then the shipping was $7.50, so I paid a total of $43.50 for this quad. They did send me an extra multichrome shadow, which I didn't even realize they had actually more multichrome shades, and this is the shade Sour Apple. It looks really beautiful and metallic and shifty, and I will of course include that in the comparison swatches, but I will not be using it for the 3 looks that I created. So let's get into the swatch comparisons and then the 3 looks, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video. I did have to build these up quite a bit to get them to be this opaque, especially the top green and the bottom. First up for comparisons, we have Blair Swamp from Black Moxy. Below that is Embroidery from Clionadh, and below that is Emerald Moss from Pariah House Cosmetics. And as you can see, these are not all direct dupes. I thought that Blair Swamp was going to be more of like black base multichrome, but it does have a much lighter base. It's almost translucent. It is very light. I really had to build it up. So I don't know if I have any direct dupes, but I would say that the Emerald Moss is probably the most similar. Next up is Sour Apple from Black Moxy Cosmetics. Then below that is Asteria from Devinah. Below that is M51 from Terra, and below that is Retrograde from Lethal Cosmetics. Obviously those two are not even close, but they do have a similar tone straight on. They just don't look the same in terms of the shift and just their base. It's not as brown as Sour Apple and Asteria, but I do think that Asteria is pretty much a dead-on dupe to this shade. I did have to layer Sour Apple quite a bit because it actually swatches pretty patchy. It was really weird. It's almost like the pigment didn't want to stick down, so I had to go over it a couple of times, while Asteria was just nice and smooth and immediate pigmentation. It does look like it's just a little bit darker, but that could also be because it is more pigmented, so it's swatched better. Next up is Pixie Dust Grove from Black Moxy Cosmetics versus Mirage from Terra and Forge from Clionadh. And again, I thought Pixie Dust Grove would be more of like a black base multichrome because of the way that it looks in the pan, but it is just a little bit lighter. It's a little bit more sheer compared to a Mirage and Forge, which are really black based and very metallic, very pigmented, and even the pink and the shift is just brighter. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that they are so pigmented and so metallic. Next up we have Enchanted Lakewoods from Black Moxy at the top, then JD Glow A Lot. Below that is Touch of Glam Beauty Magentificent. Below that is Gothic from Clionadh. Below that is Flame Blown from Clionadh as well. And again, you can see that Enchanted Lakewoods, while it is darker, it does not have as much of a black base as these other black base multichromes. Flame Blown does shift to a green, so it is not a direct dupe, but I think some of these other shades are very similar. The tone of Enchanted Lakewoods is a bit different from A Lot. A Lot is just an even darker kind of purple, and so are Magentificent and Gothic. But otherwise, they're pretty similar in terms of the shift. Last up is New Moon Woodland from Black Moxy Cosmetics, then Magnetosphere from Devinah, Alter Ego from Terra, and Alter Ego from Touch of Glam Beauty, and Rosette from Clionadh. And again, you can see that New Moon Woodland, it does have that darker base to it, but these just look a little bit darker. It also took a bit of building up again compared to some of these other shades, but I do think it's quite similar to both the Alter Egos from Terra as well as Touch of Glam Beauty. It doesn't have quite a bit of that green shift like Rosette and Magnetosphere. Do you see it all the way at the end? It kind of just almost falls off there. So I already had a green look on this side and a purple look on this side, so we're just going to repurpose my lower lash line and go back in with the mattes. I'm priming with the P. Louise paint in shade 0.5. Little goes a long way. This is way too much. I'm going to be using the Antidote palette from Stacey Marie MUA and Be Perfect. And I'm going to go in with Moss. I'm just going to go right into the crease with this shade. Kind of taking it a little higher. I am going to be trying to deepen this up a bit. So I'm taking Sable. I'm just going to put that right into my crease. And I'm blending it into the lighter shade. Next I'm taking Antidote. The outer corner, I have a little bit of fallout, unfortunately. And I'm just going to connect that to my lower lash line. I'm going to take the larger, fluffier brush and just blend that out. And just blending. I'm packing on a little bit more, like didn't want to stick down on this corner. I'm gonna put on my Fair & Pixie Epoxy. I could tell from swatching these shades that these would need something like this. Picked up some Blair Swamp. I'm just putting that over the Fair & Pixie Epoxy. Ooh, it's actually really beautiful and quite metallic. Oh, that's pretty. Here's the first finished look. For this look, I'm going to be using the Amore Mariposas palette from Melt Cosmetics, trying to get some use out of these mattes. So I'm going to go in with Almohada right into the crease. And then I'm tapping back and forth between that and Nube for the outer corner, just to deepen it up a little bit. And I'm gonna go reach for a lighter purple from somewhere else to help blend these out. Actually, I'm gonna take Abuelita and I'm just gonna use Abuelita to blend those out in the edges. I'm gonna connect it down here as well. Just really bring that pink all over. And again, I'm gonna prime with the Fair & Pixie Epoxy. I'm gonna put it pretty much all over the lid. Do like to tap it out just to make sure there's not too much on. And I picked up Enchanted Lakewoods and just putting that all over my lid. This really nicely blends in with the mattes. So you can see, I'm gonna go in with a little bit more. I feel like this one is just not keeping the shine as much as the green. Let me go in with my finger. I do want to see how it layers because it looks pretty shiny on my finger. I think that helped a little bit. Here's a second finished look. Priming with the Natasha Denona Shadow Primer. Going in with Lethal Cosmetics Daybreak right in the inner 2/3 of my crease. Just kind of placing it down. And then I'm going to blend it. And I'm going to use Helios to blend it. I'm pretty much going to be layering these two shades together. Going back in with the other yellow. Just really trying to get that pigment down. Using Trespass from Lethal Cosmetics on the outer corner. And I am just packing that down onto the outer corner. And then blending it out and slightly into the yellow. I'm gonna go in with a bit more since I blew out the other eye a lot more, so I need them to match up. So we're just blending. Just going back in with more to blend it out and really wing this out. Picked up Enchanted Lakewood on my brush and then sprayed it with just water. And by spray, I mean like very lightly mist it, just so that it's a little damp but not soaking wet. I did not realize that I'm pretty sure I already used this in the previous look since I filmed them quite a few days apart, so I didn't remember which shade I used. So I think I am repeating the shade, but I did want to just see how these apply without the help of a primer, just wet. Next, going in with Pixie Dust Grove, and I'm going to take that above. And I'm basically kind of blending these two together. So I'm just kind of swiping it downwards into that other shade. I do have a little bit of fallout. I put on the Kiss Veil lashes. In the waterline, I have Punch from ColourPop. And as my inner corner highlight, I use the Kristen Leigh Glimmer Gel in Typical. So here's the third and final look. So I did try these with the Fairney Pixie Epoxy as well as a dampened brush, and I feel like either or worked pretty well in getting these onto the lid. I think that the wet brush did work just a little bit better in getting that smooth metallic foiled look onto the lid, but even then I felt like I wanted to go in with my finger to apply these and layer them over, because I just feel like I wasn't getting the high metallic shine that I was imagining. And not that these are like most metallic multichromes, for sure, even just from swatching them, they are not the shiniest, but I just was expecting a little bit more. But I do feel like that is something to be expected with lower priced multichromes, especially the black based multichromes, because these pigments are very, very expensive. So I think this would be good for anyone who wants to try multichromes but is looking for a more affordable option. So that's everything for this video. I hope that you found it helpful, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below if you've tried anything from Black Moxy Cosmetics, because I'm definitely intrigued and I will be looking out for their future launches. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.